I will submit to you that this is a simple card you could use. Explore the situation, review the rules, and perform a final safety check. What's the worst that could happen? Stop and ensure. So we made it a three-step process, something simple that you could remember without a lot of these words. That's a very good start for an investigation. Why did it make perfectly good sense for the individual to do what she or he did at the time of the event? Good question. And the second question should be, if that person would do it, if I took three other people with the same qualifications, the same situation, would those three people do exactly the same thing that person did? And if the answer is yes, then you've got more of an individual behavior, you've got more of an organizational behavior going all the way back to the organization. If you look at this picture, you know, what do you see? What do you really see here? Well, they're doing a job. They got two forklifts. I don't know if that's kosher, you know. You got four guys on top. One guy riding the forklift. Two guys really riding the forklift, right? One guy operating the forklift. And there's a guy behind the boxes there, or a woman. And who's that? Is that the supervisor? Is that the safety professional? You know? So you see 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people there to get this job done. The boss wanted the job done. He wanted it done now. And they got it done. They were successful. And the boss was rewarded for production, and he called his crew innovative for getting the job done. But how many rules did they violate? Quite a few, eh? It's safety rules galore here. Fall protection, riding the forklifts like that. You know, so who could have stopped this? And why didn't they stop it? Those are good questions that as safety professionals, a lot of times we don't look at that near miss. When I was a safety professional in the 80s, we just worried about when someone was injured, when someone would get hurt. Here's a case here where it's a precursor to something bad happening. Human performance excellence or safety excellence is really about managing defenses. That's your hazard mitigation controls. Plus human performance tools or safety performance tools will lead us to safety excellence. Those mitigation defenses, you need at least one in place to prevent the event. Human performance training, human performance tools, which I'll discuss shortly, and leading to excellent human performance. A simple formula. Post-job briefing, the most wasted time is the time at the end of the day where the supervisor says, okay, hit the showers early. We're done early, half hour early, hit the showers early, go hang out somewhere. Where you could do is ask the question, what worked well today? Anything we can improve? Any lessons learned that we need to capture and pass on to others? There's an opportunity there to get this information to continually improve the process. This is where the tools are used to improve programs and processes. And when we get these post-job briefings and get these improvement opportunities, what do we do with them? Do we recognize and encourage the people that came up with these ideas? Or do we just file them away? You know, what do you do with this feedback? Feedback's very important. Self-impaired, yeah.
Can I ask one more question on that?
Yeah, good.
And I'm not the safety guy. That's why I'm a reliability guy. So I just need clarity. What's the difference between a post-job brief and an after-action review?
Really, there's no difference, Bob. There's no difference. After-action review sounds like something that would happen immediately after you've done a certain action. A post-job briefing would be something for guys assigned a job all day, kind of, you know. like an all shift kind of thing, you know, where you're like purging the generator with hydrogen, with CO2 gas. After you've done that procedure, you would do a post job on that. Well, how did the job go? You know, anything we can improve. Good question, Bob. Very good question.
Right. Thank you, John.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, and I'm curious too, John, because I like this idea of storytelling, and that's what a post-job brief is, right? It's talking about what went well, what didn't well, collecting those lessons learned. Yes. Have you ever seen an organization go from we're not doing this and it's not working effectively to 180 degrees difference where they're doing great post-job briefings and people are readily contributing their observations and their lessons learned for the day?
That's a good question, because, you know, a lot of management isn't looking at this. You know, they're not looking to see if it's done. In fact, you know, right. It's not a requirement. If it's a maybe, you're not going to do it. If it's a nice thing to do, you're not going to do it. You know, so you got to require it. You got to say, where's the post-job briefing? And you know, for some guys, it couldn't do it that day. I said, well, what about the next day? What about the start of the job the next day? What went good yesterday? Anything we can improve from yesterday? Anything we can learn?
Good point.
Asking those questions. It's a pre-job briefing, you know. So I'm kind of looking at, you know, the turnover from one shift to another or one day to another. Having this discussion. What INPO found is, when I was working in nuclear, this is one of the most wasted times of the day, was the end of the shift. Workers were told to go hang out, you know, and they weren't held to, you know, hold them accountable and hold yourself accountable for requesting the post-job brief. Accountability is a two-way street. What we need to do is move from traditional measures to leading success precursors, I would call them, focusing on those behaviors that need to have happened so we don't get the bad results. And this is difficult at times because you're looking for quality as well as quantity. I would say complacency when you're young, you're a little baby, when you first start a job, you form your habits. Through time, you develop complacency. You've done it before. Then through time, use of these tools and these safety conversations help you guard against complacency so you do the right thing at the right time.